that 99% of gamblers quit before they win big. So
They do typically, yeah.
Hey, it could be worse.
Honestly, it's their fault when they lose. Honestly, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
It could be worse. You could have bet a lot of money that the Cowboys were going to beat the Bears. They're currently.
See, I purposely looked at stuff that I could figure, like, that I was like clearly the favorite team. Now, granted, if the Chargers actually recover, which they did score, so it'll be a tie game at least. And the 49ers should win against the Cardinals. If somehow the Chiefs fuck this up for me, I'm single-handedly going to beat what's his fucking name? What's the quarterback's name?
Mahomes.
I was gonna make a bad joke.
You can go after Kelsey. You go after Taylor Swift.
You should.
I'm not going after Taylor Swift. I said one thing about Taylor Swift this weekend. Echo gave me a fucking paragraph essay.
No.
How hate. No. It wasn't that she's like a Swiftie. It's she immediately was like, if you hate Taylor Swift just because she's Taylor Swift, then it's inherently misogynistic. And my hands were up. I was like, I'm not touching this. The 10-foot pole, Your Honor.
I did so good on this and fucking. You know what? I'll say it. Fuck Maction, okay, Dex. I had a great like 9-leg parlay, and I did great. And the only two teams that fucked me over were the fucking Mac teams.
Let me guess. Did you bet against Eastern Michigan?
Is Western Michigan, right?
Oh, okay.
They played Western Michigan, which they lost. Which, oh my god, like Tucker Gleason, buddy, retired. Go play lacrosse. It's over. It's over. The career
It's cold.
Doesn't exist.
This fucking cold open is gonna suck because we're just talking about gambling.
That's fine. It's fine if we're talking about gambling, okay?
Let's go gambling.
I'd gamble on my Overwatch loot boxes if I could.
Fucking gamble core. Does not follow football.
Time to gamble live on the podcast.
No, see, Bowsy, that's the other thing, is I don't follow football at all. I'm shooting in the dark here because it's like I got nothing else.
I don't want to follow football and I don't want to gamble, so I don't do either.
Those are very smart choices.
I follow football and don't gamble. It still sucks.
I follow football and gamble. It still sucks.
Maybe you should bandwagon.
I'm winning at the end of the day. So.
Okay, please, Cardinals kick it away, and then 49ers just go get a field goal. Pretty please. All right, anyway, I'll shut the fuck up about my gambling. That way we can start. How about that?
Who says we haven't been started for almost 3 minutes?
Well, yeah, I know actually started. This is why I say I need to leave the podcast. I do nothing but detriment and fucking make it awful.
No, you don't. You do not. Me and Hunter will sit here for 10 minutes after this podcast ends and tell you do not.
If my 3-leg parlay doesn't hit, I won't be here 10 minutes out of this podcast. I'll be fucking somewhere I'll be splattered somewhere in the streets of Pembroke, North Carolina.
Oh boy, what a beginning.
And with that, welcome back everyone to this episode of For the Love of Prod. As always, I'm joined by Huntertain and Megalass, and our guest this week is Bowsy. Thank you so much for joining us, and let's not go gambling.
Yeah, let's not go gambling. Thank you for having me. We should be financially responsible so that we can't stop winning.
True.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. And I will say this: if there is an echo throughout this entire episode, we've tried fixing it. We can't.
Sorry, my fault. My headphones are too old.
Yeah, it's no big deal. It's not like it affects too much. It's not like it goes on forever, like 30 seconds after.
Figure it out.
It's been a busy week. Yeah, like I'm fucking tired. Yeah. I'm fucking tired as hell. I woke up this morning at like 5:30, walked around my college campus, and then drove 6 hours back home.
Yeah, I've had a busy week myself. I've been working on videos for local TV studio. Had to apply for a job, got accepted for that job, so I have to start worrying about that next month.
Congrats.
Thank you. And yeah, it's been a busy week, but you know what? It's the weekend. Time to relax. I slept in until 2 today and did nothing. So.
I wish I could do that.
If only.
If only.
If I did though, she's not in the room. She would jump on me. I'm worried about where she is now because I feel like she's gonna attack me at any point here.
Just keep her away from the power button.
Well,
Oh, don't worry. I have the power button. Like my power button or my I've literally bought. Like, you can't see it, but like my internet router and everything is plugged in over there. I had to box it in because on the bottom shelf, and she likes to walk on the shelves. So I had to literally like just get boxes and or pieces of cardboard and duct tape them together so that she couldn't get into it.
But then you made a box, and if it fits, they sit. So now you created another problem.
No. Zay, she hates boxes.
Oh. Interesting.
Well, mostly because I didn't have a carrier or anything when I adopted her, so they put her into one of the like cardboard box cages that they have. So she doesn't like boxes for that reason.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
fair.
All right, but how about we actually get into it here, Bowsy? How about holy fucking shit?
The story.
Yep. Yep, I got
Deep
this.
breath.
Give me a moment. Bowsy, how about you give a quick introduction to yourself here before we get into our normal 2 questions?
Yeah, absolutely. So, hello, my name is Bowsy. Full name is HBBowsy64, as my Bowser Jr. plush completely falls off my mark arm. I usually just go by Bowsy just because it's easier. I have been, I've been doing a lot of stuff. I was a Nintendo YouTuber back then. I still do a little bit of Nintendo content, but I also do casting for esports games, mostly Overwatch, Mario Kart, a dabble of Smash Brothers here and there, but mostly those 2 games, trying to expand to more. So, yeah, that's mainly what I've been doing. I've casted at select lands over the past year as well. So, an interesting background that I've had so far.
Well, we're gonna have another episode where we talk about Smash Bros, y'all.
Great.
It was fun.
Well, I've only casted Smash Brothers once, so not a lot of Smash Brothers under my
Good for
belt.
you.
Good for you. Once is too many times.
Once is enough.
Once is enough, and we'll touch on that a little bit later. But here, Bowsy, I don't know if you've listened to the podcast. I think you have. But we normally ask, our guests every week, what got you in and what keeps you coming back to esports. So, Bowsy, what got you into esports, and more specifically, what got you into esports prod?
Yeah, so we'll start off with going into esports, and there's 2 real events that I can pinpoint that really got me into esports. The first was when I used to watch Mario Kart videos. There's a thing called Mario Kart Clan Wars, which is basically 6v6 Mario Kart team-based competition. I used to watch a little bit of that, and I was like, that's interesting. Why don't I try doing that when the new game comes out in 2017? So I tried that. It was interesting. Wasn't really my repertoire, but I still kept it in the back of my mind. But then my real mainstay esports came with the introduction of the Overwatch League. Now, I don't follow traditional sports, but I am one to very much root for the home squad, and I am a Boston-based boy, so I, of course, had to root for the Boston Uprising in the Overwatch League, and that got me into a long strand of just following into Overwatch competitive. I ended up going into small leagues like, I believe, Overwatch Community Cup was one, and Owlet Tournament was another. Those 2 leagues really got my start into competing in esports. But eventually I was like, I don't want to compete full-time. I want to get into doing casting and whatnot, which led to me doing my first cast for Owlet Tournament back in, I believe, 2019. And since then, the balls just kept rolling. I've casted both color and play-by-play for the past 6 years now, and have just enjoyed doing it. So that's mainly where it's gotten from there.
I'm gonna be honest. The fact that you said you're a hometown boy and you don't follow traditional sports, buddy, you grew up in the city that might have been the best just to follow traditional sports in the last 2 decades.
I never was into football, baseball, hockey, or basketball growing up, so I unfortunately missed out on that. But you know what? You know who was into all of that? Everyone I went to school with. So if the Patriots won the Super Bowl, that meant everybody was out of school that next day, and I could be there and do absolutely nothing for a day. So I won at the end of the day.
Yeah, you did win. Boston wins too much. I'm going to say that.
I'm sorry.
Not
Sometimes I don't
anymore,
agree with it
man.
either.
Shut up, Hunter.
They didn't win today, all right? Because Ramondre Stevenson, buddy, get in the unemployment line. That's all I gotta say, bro. I got nothing more. I'm not extending that bit. That's all I gotta say.
No, you're good.
Game Boy.
Oh, no, not the Game Boy.
I'm playing Pokemon Gold.
What happened?
Aren't I so fantastic?
What happened to Emerald or whatever one you were playing?
So Crystal, so that needs a new battery. Unfortunately, with these games that work on like an in-game clock, if the battery isn't working properly, the in-game clock doesn't work properly. Now, I have this of Pokemon Gold that does work properly, and so I can actually do all the stuff and not be like completely restricted and have it always be 7 p.m. on a Tuesday. You know?
Yeah, I know how bad it could be when that battery breaks. I actually have one Game Boy cartridge because I also collect retro games, and the one Game Boy cartridge I have has a broken battery, so I can't save any progress in it. That hurts more than you think it would.
It hurts because you can't do anything about it. It's like back in the days when we had memory cards, and sometimes you wouldn't have a memory card for your system, so you would have to try to beat the game in one sitting.
Yep.
Here, wait. Let me go see. I have some Game Boy games. Let me go see what Game Boy games I have.
Yeah, like to be fair, the only cartridges I have that currently work is I have my copy of Pokemon Gold. I also have an original version of Pokemon Blue, which I actually beat again recently, which was a lot of fun. Which let's see what Dex has in his little collection. I'm a little curious because I don't think I've seen the collection.
Scooby-Doo classic Creepers.
Let's go.
All-time classic.
Monsters Inc.
That's actually kind of goated. All right, there you go. There you go.
Toy Story 2.
Oh Lord, is that the one with the terrible driving?
Classics.
I don't fucking know, man. It's Toy Story for the
1 or 2 has like a terrible driving mechanic. That's all I remember.
At some point, this was full of games. At some point, it was really cool that this was full of games. Now, 30 years later,
all the good games are gone.
Yeah, I know the only Game Boy game I have is Donkey Kong on the Game Boy. So, and if you've never played that game, please play it. It's good.
It's gonna probably come out to Switch 1 and 2.
It's already on Switch.
Okay, never mind. Yeah, you can play it there if you don't own it. All right, but let's move on to the next thing. Bowsy, what kind of keeps you coming back to doing esports stuff, and more specifically esports prod? Like you said, you've done some LANs this year. You've done some LANs with Soab, someone who's been on the podcast in the past.
Yeah, it's the best way I can say it is that I have a passion for esports. Esports has always been something I've really been into ever since my college years. So much so that for my senior year of college, I actually had to complete an honors thesis paper, and my thesis was literally studying if my college could support an esports program and what that esports program could do for the college. So I was heavily into esports, into college, and that passion just kind of stuck with me. I've always loved that sort of esports competition aspect. You know, I love watching the Overwatch League back when it was a thing. I still like watching esports. I love attending esports events and seeing the live action for myself. It's just, it's such a fun experience knowing that there is a competitive community out there for something that I love. That's not football, baseball, basketball, whatever. It's playing video games in front of a computer screen. It's just, I love that aspect, and that's why I just keep coming back, is because it's something that I'm really, passionate about.
Yeah, I feel like that's the case with probably everyone here. Like, it's so fun, especially going to these like in-person events. Not even if you're casting at it or working it. Like, going to these in-person events are just so incredibly fun because you get to see more people from the community that you just kind of never expected or never expect.
Yeah, I mean, like even just like not in this case of competing or casting. I used to go to all the Boston Uprising watch parties back when they happened in Foxborough. So that just connected me with a group of people where like we never would have met if it weren't for esports and video games being this sort of big medium. And it's amazing how big of a community esports can be and how diverse it can be. So it shows like just being able to make those connections is such a big deal.
It absolutely is, and like I've talked about this story a couple times on the podcast before. It's like when I went to Toronto for the last grand finals for OWL, or the grand finale or whatever the fuck they called it. It was a big thing because like one, it was the first esports event I ever traveled to. Like never gone to one, hell, never left the country, so there was that added on top of it. And it was the first time that I was going there and actually like meeting some people I worked with online, which was cool. But then I ran into a whole bunch of people from Trank, and that just kind of made the entire trip really worth it.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't had the honor of being able to meet people from Tranquility and BPL, but like even meeting people in the Mario Kart community, whatnot, or other sort of communities that I've been in, it's it's amazing seeing these people face to face and realizing, we met from video games, and this is how we ended up meeting each other. Some of my best friends I met just from playing video games online, and some I've had the honor of meeting with at conventions and whatnot. So it's the video game aspect and the competitive video game aspect that really connects us all together.
Yeah, no, it truly is. And like that's what like you kind of said, it's not like traditional sports where you could go probably anywhere and find someone who likes football, and you could at least get on that level or like connect on that level. Esports, it's the same way. It's just a little bit, I don't want to say harder, but a little bit more different. I'm trying to figure out the right word here for it, but like just going somewhere and being able to connect with someone because they really like this game, whether it be Overwatch or Mario Kart, any game that has an esport, like that's also a fun thing. Any game can have an esport as long as it's somewhat multiplayer. So it's always fun to hear about those random like little games that have like somehow a somewhat thriving esports scene.
Yeah, I've always lived off the phrase, if there's passion behind a competitive scene for X game, that game will have a competitive scene. It doesn't even have to be a multiplayer game. I've seen some instances where competitive games are single player games, so there is always a competitive aspect. As long as there is passion, a game will have a competitive scene. And that's really what I love about esports, is that literally any game could be a competitive. Mario Kart, competitive scene. Overwatch, competitive scene. Just Dance, currently recognized as a World Olympic in esports. So, there's a lot there.
It's currently recognized as a World Olympic game because the Olympics, when they chose their esports, they did them all like, okay, these are games that make you move.
Exactly. So we can't have iRacing as an esport yet, but who knows?
It's not that far. It's not that far away. I'm gonna be honest with you, but it's gonna be like fucking Rally Cross or something like that.
Probably, but it'll be that arcade game where you're on the bike and you sway back and forth. They'll do that before iRacing any day of the week.
Just fucking lean. Oh no, the dude from Switzerland has leaned too far. He fell off the bike. And when he tried to get up, the bike whopped him in the head because it swung back and then right back into him. Oh no.
Yeah. That's the type of esports content we need at the Olympics.
Hey, blood, sweat, and tears. We're gonna make sure that one of these fuckers bleeds. Here, wait, quick sidebar. Mega, how's your parlay looking?
Okay, the Chargers clutched up 49ers. They're in field goal range, but there's only 25 seconds. Like it's field goal range, but it's like 30 plus yards. They're unironically, both games can be clutched up by a 10-second left field goal. Unironically.
No, 5. You want to really do it with 4, but yeah.
No, oh my god, wait, no. This is a fine field goal. They just got to the fucking... Wait, everything's fine. Everything's gonna be fine.
Mega, just wait for the kick. Just wait for the kick, okay?
That's the thing. I can't see it. I can't actually watch the game because I'm broken. I can't fucking... I don't want to...
Okay, so you're just like have like NFL.com up and you're watching it.
She's watching.
No, I'm literally refreshing my betting app and just fucking because I'm not even gonna say the name of it because we're not sponsored. Hey, listen, if you want to sponsor the podcast,
no.
Okay, so they're on the 16 right now. Okay, so yeah, they're in pretty good position. So if they're smart, they'll use their final timeout to get it in position. And,
just fucking field goal it. Just field goal, win by 1 point versus the Cardinals, and then. Then I'm completely focused in here because surely the Chiefs don't fuck this up, right?
They might, but it's the Giants. You never know. Giants either come in and play as the best or worst team ever, and there's not an in between for that squad.
Okay, currently we're still the same vibe of refreshing our Twitter feeds to get the updates.
No, so I'll tell you this right now. They ran one more play to center it.
Yeah, you would. That's what I was saying they were going to do. And timeout still.
I'll be honest with you. The 49ers kicker was the Panthers kicker last year, who was the most accurate kicker in the NFL last season until he got hurt.
Listen, it's fine. It's fine. It's going to be fine. For some reason, they ran another play. No, they got the field goal. Everything's fine. Everything's fine.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. They
get the
recentered the
field goal?
ball.
It updated on my app. It says it's 16-15.
Then your app is way far ahead.
I'm waiting for it on Google.com.
Yeah, no.
I love it.
Refreshing on the app because I also looked it up on Google to see if it would pop up quicker. Google fucking sucks. I'm gonna be dead ass. Google is behind.
Google wasn't great about it. No.
3 types of people here who all fall
there it
into the
is.
same game.
There it is. There it is. There's the cake.
And then there's Bowsy, who's just like, I like Mario.
Hey guys, welcome back to this esports production podcast. We're now done talking about sports, at least for probably a little bit. I'm assuming.
At least the next 5 seconds.
Yeah, no, Chiefs game doesn't start till 8. We're fine.
That didn't even last 5 seconds.
It wasn't even 5 seconds.
But now it can be longer than 5 seconds. Shut the fuck up. Anyway, Bowsy, listen, I haven't talked to you this whole time, so listen, all right? I'll actually chat with you, right? Because obviously, gotten to do some Overwatch casts with you. But as you said, you've got, your Nintendo's got you, right? You're holding hands with Nintendo. Realistically, like, as somebody who's done both, Overwatch broadcasts as well as stuff with Nintendo games, what is like the main difference you would say in how the prods are run?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the biggest difference between Overwatch and a game like Mario Kart, which is the game I primarily cast with Nintendo, is the different sort of perspectives you can get on both games. When it comes to Overwatch, you typically have a set amount of observers who are observing either first person or third person. With Mario Kart production, every player needs to have their own perspective or their own capture if you're going to have like views of the entire tournament. So you can have anywhere from 2 to 12 to even now 24 different perspectives if you wanted to get the entire action. Thankfully, I haven't hit 24 yet, and I don't think we ever will, because a lot of the Mario Kart scene is convinced that 12 is the best number. But the main thing is that it's much harder to really get the perspective of Mario Kart unless you set up a 12-view screen, which most of us Overwatch people are not familiar with. We're usually familiar with, at most, maybe one big window and a small window. Mario Kart, you have to do 12 screens if you want to get the full action for everything. So I definitely will say Overwatch can be easier to track everything happening at once, but a game like Mario Kart, it is extremely hard to track everything at once because you have so many different perspectives you have to deal with.
Like you said 24, I was like, what game fucking does 24? And then I realized, oh wait.
Yeah, Mario Kart World recently released, and that can support up to 24 players.
I so badly want to see. I don't care what the players think. Fuck it, do 24.
I mean, there have been some people who are running knockout rallies, which support most exclusively 24 players. So I'm not saying it's out of the equation, but a knockout rally tournament could happen where 24 players are competing on stage.
Yeah, do it that way. I mean, that would truly show who's the best of the best. But, I mean, especially with, like, the main difference between the easiest main difference to really point at with Mario Kart to Overwatch is, well, one's a racer and one's a shooter.
Obviously, unless you count red shells and green shells.
I mean, only green shells are really shooters. And fireballs.
Well, red shells and auto lock.
Fireballs, bombs, bananas. I guess you can. I guess in a weird roundabout way, Mario Kart is a shooter.
A third-person shooter with kart driving mechanics. Every game's a shooter when you think about it.
Solitaire?
You're shooting cars into different lanes, hitting the top of the card with another card.
Yeah, you see how fast those carts shoot out sometimes.
They could easily take your eye out.
Exactly.
They could.
Got to be careful about them.
Anything could take your eye out, honestly.
I'm trying to sit here and think of a game that cannot be classified as a shooter.
Pac-Man?
Short range combat, knocking every power pellet out, and every ghost if you have the right ability.
Oh wait, well wait. I know. Are we talking strictly video games or just any game? That's not a shooter.
Let's go video games, and then we'll go any game and see how we can.
I'm just saying. I know a game that's not a shooter.
Go ahead.
You just lost the game.
I mean,
Just like the Chiefs in 3 hours.
You shot us all down with that, so technically a shooter.
No, I'm gonna be so honest with you. You know that fucking like that trend that started on Twitter like earlier this week, where it was like, how do I fit this photo into my header? I was so close to doing one with that, but then my header was gonna be, you lost the game.
I'm pretty sure I saw someone do that where they tried to do that and they said never mind, fix it, and they said this trend is very much overused, stop using it.
It's crazy you mentioned that, and then I immediately went to look at what my Twitter header was, and I saw that it was just Winston Overwatch.
I'm pretty sure mine is. I don't even remember what mine is.
Yours. I think I have it up right here.
I think mine's
It's
my
your
BPL banner.
It's your BPL.
Yeah, it's my
banner.
BPL banner when I joined the staff. So
I don't even have. I don't even. I'm gonna say I don't have that, but it's probably something I can easily get.
Oh yeah, no, you just go to Solomon GG.
Yeah, go to Solomon GG. There's a special page for banner creator.
I have the most cursed one of all because I can make a Brazil Uprising banner.
That's sick.
Yes.
Okay, but I can make it.
It's aura farming.
I can make a state mandated team banner, so I'm technically a little bit more cursed.
Listen, I cooked on state mandated team. I did. As the coach, when Brad came to me, was like, "Listen, you're gonna be working with a bunch of other people who weren't wanted on team." I said, "Let me cook," and that team was decent. Nobody believed in us, but I made them believe.
All right, fair enough. We did decent, so won't deny.
Everybody thought we would do nothing, so the fact that we did decent, I'm good with it.
I don't even remember where the heck you can find the banner creator.
It's on like your
literally,
profile.
it's on your own profile page. Dex, actually, have this up for the people who don't know about Solomon GG, because honestly, Solomon GG is like the most amazing thing in the world.
Yeah, give me a moment. I probably have to log into mine on this browser.
I found it.
That's fine.
There we go.
But yeah, it's literally like if you've ever participated in BBL or BPL adjacent event or had BPL prod run your shit.
Did you say BBL?
No, BPL. Open your fucking ears. That came off really harsh. I'm sorry. I'm feeling angsty right now.
It's fine.
I don't know. Listen, when you become never mind. I'm not getting into that today.
Okay.
No. We'll get into that off the podcast. But yeah, so this is literally for any team you ever played on or anything like that.
I think you got to go to if you go to like your what is it, player page.
Yeah, player page, and then the banner creators right at the end.
Yep,
Yep.
there
You
it
can
is.
just
And
click
then
on
there
that.
you go. You can choose a theme, which could
Choose
be
a
any of
theme.
the tournaments that you've worked on.
Yeah.
So
Anything
then-
you've worked on,
Literally any of
anything.
them.
If you've played on teams, you can.
No text.
Yeah.
I've never played on team, so this is all I'll get.
That's
Well,
all-
actually, I think you
do
might
you
be able
not
to get
have
like
more than
caster
that?
or event staff or observer.
Yeah, if you
Yeah.
event stuff, you'll have a listing for that too.
Caster.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah,
There you go.
Basic, but it works.
yeah.
It's beta.
I've got my stuff from Boa from this last season. That looks pretty sick. Hey, there he is. I have that one too. As a player and as a caster.
Yeah, I have the stuff when I won the 66 championship for BPL last year. Or earlier this year.
Wait, isn't this going on right now?
The
What,
Season Showdown? No,
yeah.
they're doing season 3, I think.
It's
of the
season
league.
3 or 4 right now. Yeah.
Yeah, I think season 3. They're currently doing the draft as we
is it
speak.
3? Huh,
I believe
There
it's
you go.
3.
fair enough.
Actually, I can check the events page. Oh no,
I thought it was 3.
it's not. It's a different Suzu Sun. It's a different Suzu Showdown. I thought it was the season 3.
Yeah, I thought they were doing
I was
Suzu
wrong.
Showdown.
Yeah, it's a Suzu Sundown now, not Showdown.
Gotcha.
Here, I'll actually be so nice. I'll even use the channel properly. The most aura-filled image there's ever been.
No comment.
I'm gonna be
No
honest,
comment.
that logo isn't bad. That's the funny part. Like, that's actually
no,
a solid
yeah, okay.
logo.
No, because I just stole the Boston Uprising logo and I put the Brazilian flag behind it.
I know, that's what I mean.
What's crazy? Do you see how jagged it looks?
Yeah.
That's not intentional. I traced it by hand with a drawing tablet, and just my hand was shaking like crazy.
Part of me thought it was like a somewhat bad Photoshop job, not actually tracing over it. Like
I traced over the Boston Uprising logo with a drawing tablet in my hand. It's just I suck at drawing, and my hand was shaking.
Fair enough. I still need to get back into drawing. Did it a little bit and then stopped.
I feel like this is the first time I've opened the fucking image channel in a while. I'm trying to remember what the fuck we were talking about with these last couple images.
Well, that was 2 weeks ago, so that was on Labor Day, so or somewhere near that.
Around it. Yeah, I didn't know. I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, well, today you learned. The more you know. Presented by Bowsy.
Whatever the thing is. Isaiah, what do you want? All right, but here let's continue talking about Nintendo, because you've done a decent amount with Mario Kart, but you've done a decent amount of lands, and you've done a couple this year with Mario Kart lands, and some like I've said have been with Soav, a previous guest who, gonna be honest, I had an idea of how that episode would go with him. Man, did that episode not go anyway how I thought it would. But let's talk about Nintendo lands, because they're really, like almost any other kind of esports thing, really community based. But I feel like Nintendo lands go a little bit further than that.
Yeah, there definitely is that sort of sense of like Nintendo's community base going a lot further. Mostly because Nintendo is not one to really host a lot of esports events. They'll host certain ones. Like recently, they've been hosting a Splatoon 3 league, which is massive to be able to host like an actual Splatoon 3 league, similar to what Overwatch does with OWCS. But Nintendo is not one to really go all in on esports. They'll do an event like occasionally, like every other year. Like I know I did. I was trying to do the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe tournament. They did it PAX East back in 2023. So they've done some events, but rarely they'll go like all into doing an esport for a certain game.
Mm.
So most of the time, all of these sort of events that you see are like people willing to commit their time, their effort, their money into doing these full scale productions. And that's really what it is. It's mostly a community driven esport, mostly. Again, you have your official stuff, but it's not like the only thing that you have for esports. It's mostly the grassroots, mostly people coming up and saying like, I want to do a Mario Kart tournament in wherever, in so-and-so, and then just hosting the tournament there, getting a venue, being able to host a tournament, and creating a community off of that.
Yeah, and I mean, when we had Soab on, it always seemed like while you would get these, big name people from the areas, but there would also just be like a lot of people who just saw that it would be going on, especially with Mario Kart, and say, hey, this seems fun, I'm gonna join in. And like the one story that I kind of remember from Soab, it was like, oh yeah, we had, there was one, I forget where he said it was, but like there were a couple big people from the area, and then it was like, oh yeah, here's the number 4 person in the world. Like they just randomly walked in.
Yeah, you're definitely are going to have that in Mario Kart, because there's so many different like levels of like there's like in terms of like the best of the best in Mario Kart, they could be all across the world, and you can have tournaments where you're going to have the best in the world, but also people who are just getting started and people that nobody knows about. So that's kind of the thing about like Mario Kart and Nintendo esports, is that you could walk into your local and you could see the number 1 player, but also you could see somebody who's just getting started. And it really is just like a community driven effort of all of these people coming in together and and just sharing their love for esports and for these games.
Yeah. And I mean, especially because like a lot of times, especially like you said, Nintendo's more grassroots. It's like we talked about with a little bit with Mott, and just in general with Smash Bros, the fact that that's such a big esport, Nintendo doesn't recognize it, because much like what we talked about last week, Nintendo didn't design it to be a competitive game.
No, Nintendo does have their own decisions, and it can be difficult, especially for people who are trying to run these grassroots scenes. Some of them can get away with it, especially people in the Smash Brothers scene. But other games, like, it's clear there's one central idea Nintendo has, and while the grassroots scenes and our scenes are going to be going one way, Nintendo is definitely going to be going the other. Smash Brothers is one example, but another example many people point to is Mario Kart. Especially with the newest entry, where Nintendo seems to be mainly focused on these intermissions, or the connector track variants in Mario Kart World, where you travel from one track to another. Most of the community, especially the North American scene, do not like those connector tracks because they like racing on the actual circuits with so many advanced schematics that you can't use on these connector track variations. So it's really that sort of weird middle ground. I mean, Nintendo still has not yet to say our way or the highway. I mean, in that case, it's both ways. Both ways are the highway. But regardless of which, like, the community will still go a different way. Nintendo's community, or at least the community that's outside of the official Nintendo, has said, like, yeah, you can pick these. No one does. But, you know, the option is there. It's just we prefer a way that we've done it since Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. So.
Yeah, but, like, just talk about the lands in general. Like, because you said really grassroots, so I imagine its age range is from probably as young as I would imagine 5 to as old as maybe, like, I don't want to say there's a limit, but I would say 55 probably. Just the general setup, because like you said, casting at least Mario Kart is like, hey, if we're gonna have 12, there needs to be 12 viewpoints that you can watch. Like, what is that necessarily like, especially in a LAN scenario or setting?
Yeah. So, I mean, the big thing is obviously you're going to be seeing everyone kind of grouped up together, because obviously all 12 of these have to be pretty close together. Sometimes they can be as big of a room. I know one of the places I've been to LAN so far this year has it so they have an entire gaming area and all 12 setups are spread across the room. But basically everyone is going to be concentrated within a single room or on a single stage or at a single table setup, wherever. They're all going to be basically right next to each other. So you are able to see, if you're in position in the right place, you can see everyone's reaction in live time. I've definitely had points where I actually would look up from where, like, the perspective of the casting booth, where, like, you see all the perspectives, and look up and see the reactions of people in the game. So, like, if a certain track is selected, if they're cheering, if they're groaning, if they're slapping their face because it's Baby Park that was selected once again. There's always those sort of, like, it has that much more of an in-person element because you're able to see all of these reactions in live time. And yes, while other esports can do it, most of the time it's like individual, because if one person dies, then that's only you're going to see that person's reaction, compared to if everyone sees the exact same track as pick, everyone is going to be doing a different reaction. So there's so much to really gather when it's in an in-person setting, and that's honestly, I feel like is one of the highlights of Mario Kart, because you can see everyone on the stage or everyone in the LAN scene at the exact same time and truly, like, see how all of them, like, feel about the sort of setting they're in.
Quick sidebar. What's your opinion of Baby Park?
So, okay. I have a grudge with Baby Park, and I have a story because of it. I mentioned, of course, the Mario Kart tournament at PAX East 2023. It was Nintendo's own tournament. You had a chance of being able to compete on Nintendo's stage, winning official Nintendo merchandise the next day. So I was in the qualifiers for it, and I made it to the final round twice. The final qualifier round twice. The top 3 moved on to go on to the actual stage portion. I was in 5th place on the entering into the final race of the final qualifier of the day to determine who was going up to the stage. And the final racetrack was Baby Park. And as you can imagine, because Baby Park is so chaotic and you really cannot do anything on that track unless you want to get pummeled in the ass, I ended up not making the final 3 and making it onto the stage. And ever since then, I've just had a gripe with Baby Park. I understand why people pick it. It's because they're sons of Satan. But I do not like Baby Park myself because I don't like how chaotic it will be. That being said, I like the Baby Park equivalent in Mario Kart World, so I don't know. Maybe I'm just a hypocrite.
I was going to say, I think Baby Park's a really fun track.
It can't. Again, it is 50-50. Like, I think in the original game, it is good. In every other iteration, has not been able to live up to the exact chaos that the original iteration back on the GameCube did. But the chaos is definitely there in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. But it's just too much chaos for me. So,
Hunter, Mega, what are you guys' opinion of Baby Park?
Fuck that map. Fuck that map.
Yeah.
Listen, understand, Mario Kart is my bread and butter. Like, literally the only reason I've wanted to switch to is because I would play Mario Kart 24 hours a day. Like, I fucking love Mario Kart. Baby Park is genuinely what you pick when you know your friend is better than you, but you can RNG your way through the map with items because you know that you'll never beat your friend otherwise.
Just so everyone knows what Baby Park is, this is Baby Park.
Yeah, so imagine like the smallest circuit you can think of at a go-kart track. Do 7 laps around that and have items being pelted at you from every single corner. Congratulations, that's Baby Park.
And this is the one that Bowsy's saying is good, the GameCube one. Here's the thing. I've never seen this angle before, so I did not know, like, this shit in the back was there. What's with the dog?
I don't focus on the stuff in the back. I focus on, like, the actual, like, the actual track design itself. I mean, the biggest thing about between Baby Park, the original, and Baby Park on this one is that barricade. Because on the original, stuff could go over that barricade, which means you could hit someone on the opposite end of the track. In the new version, if you try to throw something over that barricade, it's just going to get knocked back. So that's why many people seem to like the original Baby Park over the newer Baby Park. But you know what? It's just the chaos, so it's hard to tell.
I like it because it is chaotic. That's just why I like it.
Yeah, I mean, I hate it, and I remember one of my first lands this year. I actually got to cast one of our matches was Baby Park, and I actually did. I literally pulled up the notes app on my phone and wrote up, "It's been 0 days since Baby Park was picked here at this production place," and held it up to the camera. I posted it in the Discord server, so you can probably get a look. Because some of us do not like Baby Park, especially myself. So,
open it up here.
Once you get it up, you'll get an idea of what it was. So,
can't wait for. Okay, this isn't like zoom the hell in. Normally, this is it.
Yeah, that was from someone else's photo. That's not the camera that we were looking at, but you get a general idea of what I did when I did it at the convention.
You know, I see the phone. Is the dude next to you wearing the fucking Constitution?
Yeah, that is indeed. I believe that's the Declaration of Independence of the Constitution that he's wearing as his shirt. Shout out Danny Fathom, who, if you're watching this, probably isn't, but
you know, fuck it. I'm not gonna argue it. I've worn some dumb shit before.
Yeah.
But no, just getting back to it. Am I the only one here who likes Baby Park?
Again, if I didn't have that gripe with it back in 2023, and if it wasn't solely from my perspective of it as a competitive player, I would enjoy Baby Park. Because of that, because of the reasons I just listed, I don't.
Well,
so
okay, what's your favorite track or circuit?
Depends on the game.
And this is everyone. This is everyone. If everyone while Bowsy's singing, if you have one ready to go.
I'm evil. Give me any Rainbow Road.
Decent. Rainbow Roads are usually the best. My favorite one is probably from the newest game, and that is it's called Great Question Block Ruins from Mario Kart World. It is by far the best technical skill showcase in a Mario Kart game ever. Like, if you've seen videos of the first week of that track, everyone was adapting their strategy, and now there is a very, like, cut and dry, amazing strategy that works on that track every single time, or at least several strategies that can work on that track. It is by far one of the best technical showcases you'll ever see in Mario Kart. Just look up the world record videos for Great Question Block Ruins, and you'll get an idea of just how insane that track is from a technical perspective. It's a technical marvel in the Mario Kart world, and I absolutely love it because it just shows the true skill of Mario Kart.
Okay, wait. I have an actual one besides that because like I like the Rainbow Roads, but actually sitting and thinking about it, I have a favorite.
I like Yoshi Circuit.
Yoshi Circuit. That's valid. That's valid. TikTok clock.
Ooh.
I like TikTok clock.
I fuck with TikTok clock. The hands moving and shit like that. I like it. I like it a lot.
Yep. TikTok clock
Also,
was when I
Waluigi
did
Stadium?
Clan Wars.
I fuck with Waluigi Stadium. I fuck with it.
That's a neat track as well.
Wario Pinball.
Also, we're not Wario Pinball. See, I love it. Everybody else hates it.
I like it.
Waluigi Pinball. Yeah.
Oh, is it Waluigi
I like Waluigi
Pinball?
It's
Yeah,
Waluigi
Waluigi.
Pinball. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, we're also not acknowledging the GOAT itself, Moo Moo Meadows. Like, let's be real for a second.
It's
Back in my day, Moo Moo Meadows was called Moo Moo Farm.
That was the N64 days.
Moo
Moo Meadows.
Neo Bowser City.
That's a fine
Respectable.
Good drifting.
I have a highlight from Neo Bowser City back when I competed in Mario Kart 8. Back when I did Mario Kart 8 Deluxe competitive. I dodged a blue shell on stage in front of hundreds of people. So
That had to be the best feeling in the world.
it was the best feeling in the world. Because like you can imagine the pressure of like competing on stage on that track on the hairpin turns, being in first, mushroom in hand, blue shell starts coming in, and you have to time that perfectly while also remaining on the track. Like that was probably the most intense moment of my life, and like that's, you know what, it was worth it. So didn't win that tournament, but came very so close, 4th place overall. So not bad.
The only time I've ever competed in like a Mario Kart tournament, I went to a mall one day, and like I think Mario Kart 8 just came out for like the Wii U. And they were trying to do something with the Wii U, so they were hyping it up. And like they had like, hey, come play Mario Kart. If you win something, there's a chance you win a Wii U. I was like, I'm looking at everyone I'm playing against, like, I could beat all these fuckers. And it's like, oh yeah, first track, fuck it, I win easily. Second track, win easily. Third and fourth tracks, biggest downfall ever.
The ego got to you after race 2.
No, I forgot how to fucking play.
Definitely had those moments before.
Yeah. Okay, so let's move away from Mario Kart. I imagine we'll probably come back to it at some point. But let's get into...
Hopefully.
Yeah, definitely. Well, let's get into Overwatch here a little bit, because, again, it's a big difference. Even though, like we talked about earlier, Mario Kart's just a shooter on wheels. But let's get into Overwatch now, because two vastly different games. Like you said, Overwatch was basically your start with really big esports for the most part. But what, like, when you come to Overwatch, like, is there any kind of like thing that you're able to kind of bring over from Mario Kart to Overwatch and have it kind of be able to, you know, do the same things that you would do with casting Mario Kart?
See, that's the thing, because I started with casting Overwatch, and the biggest thing I can say is that it really is kind of hard to mesh the two games, because they're so entirely different compared with Overwatch, which is mostly a team-based game, and Mario Kart, which is mostly a free-for-all game. You can have team-based sort of settings in Mario Kart, but I haven't had experience with that as much as I did with free-for-all. So it can be difficult, really, to find like something that relates it. The only thing I can think of is like the action segments between both, because obviously you're going to have those hype action segments in both Mario Kart and Overwatch, no matter what happens. So you will have those hype sections. But really, like, juggling between Mario Kart and Overwatch casting, you are dealing with two entirely different beasts, in my opinion.
I mean, I would imagine, like, two, like, again, yeah, we made the joke. One's a racing, one's a shooter. Like, that right there is gonna be insanely different. But I'm trying to figure out how to phrase this question without sounding like the exact same question I just asked. Just the randomness of what Overwatch can be. Has that helped you at all with what could be the randomness of Mario Kart? I know it's not necessarily random to an extent, because you know when someone's in this spot, they're going to probably get this item. But that random, like, kind of pop-off moment, have you been able to, like, kind of... do you have that same kind of thing in Mario Kart that you have with Overwatch?
Yeah, you definitely can have those like random pop-up moments that nobody ever expects whenever you do Mario Kart. I remember one of the first LAN I ever did, it looked like first place had it run away. And then all of a sudden, second place dodges a lightning bolt and then starts making their way up, has like triple red shells in second place and steals the win away after this guy was dominating the entire time. So true randomness can happen in Mario Kart, and it can lead to some insane moments, insane commentary, insane everything. And the same can kind of be said for Overwatch. You can have that random pop off from a single player that completely turns the tide of the game. And really, those two things really, I think, is one of the big things I can relate both esports to. There's always the possibility that something absolutely out of nowhere can happen and change the entire course of not just the game, but everything afterward.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so I've talked to us a little bit about, I believe there was a phrase for it, but I feel like the easiest way just to say it is sandbagging. Like that's a strategy. I don't remember if that was technically what it was called, but it's
some people refer to it as sandbagging or item bagging or item smuggling, but you got the general gist down where it is basically sandbagging.
Yeah, which you can't do that in Overwatch. You can't
No.
You can't suck for half the map and then immediately like, oh hey yeah, guess what? We got this stuff. We can go in now. No.
Yeah, you can't be the New York Excelsior in stage 4 of season 1 of Overwatch League, where everyone was saying they were sandbagging.
Hey, and guess
Hey,
what?
listen, they played Dallas kind of close, a little too close. That's all I'm saying.
Fair enough. I mean that is pretty much true, so I can see that.
How do you have a grand finals in your own city and you didn't even make it?
Ask Philly that too.
I mean, shit. Okay, to be fair, New York should have made theirs. Fucking Philly had no shot. Let's be real.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Philly always just showed up for a good time.
We're just here to have fun and finish second every time.
Are you
I'm
sure?
sorry,
I
Philly
don't think
fans.
Carpe had fun. I don't think Carpe had fun.
Hey, he eventually won something in Valorant.
While being on the bench.
Fuck it, still counts.
Exactly. Listen, when you're on the bench and you win, congrats, you still won.
Yeah, it's like every person, every bench rider who's ever, or bench warmer who's ever played a professional sport, they'll be telling their grandkids one day, like, yeah, I played on this team, and they'll change 5 years later to, yeah, I was a significant contributor, and then 10 years later, yeah, I was the MVP.
Revisionist history at its finest.
I'd say.
Hi, kitty.
Let's go see.
Bye, kitty.
Actually, speaking of, didn't y'all actually win a game?
We went to map 5, but we won a game.
Yeah, choose production crew. Actively recruiting as many players as we possibly can.
I volunteer as candidate if you need a tank.
Fucking get him in.
I got a month until I got a month. So.
What's your rank?
Diamond 2 on tank.
Fuck it.
Perfect. You're great.
Perfect.
Diamond 2 on tank. Masters 5 on support. So.
Actively recruiting anyone of prod to come play on the team.
Yeah, because we're gonna start getting less of spec, and I know Ghost is also not gonna be around too much, but now Headrammer is gonna be available starting this coming week. So I don't know anymore, man.
But quick congrats
We
to
have our
Headrammer.
win. That's all I know. We have a win.
Quick congrats to Headrammer. Congrats on the job.
Congrats. Let's go, Headrammer.
Oh wait, is he officially employed?
I'm pretty sure.
Yes. We have
Massive.
an employed boy.
Headrammer is back employed.
Go.
Of course, me and him both get employment in the same weekend. So.
I'm gonna put a little what's that called? I'm gonna put a pin in this, and there's something I need to say after that's really funny when we're not recording. Smile.
Okay.
Okay.
So when I inevitably forget, someone remind me. But
I'll probably forget, but that's just my mind playing tricks on me.
Here, Mega. I'm gonna help you out here.
got you. I mean, I could have just said it, and then you could have just. Oh, there you go. See, that's perfect. I was gonna say I could have just said it and made you edit. That would have been 10 times funnier.
Would have been.
But nah. Anyway, esports.
Bowsy, what I was going to ask you next is because it's something that is inevitable in every esport, and it sometimes brings out some really funny stories, and sometimes brings out some stories that we question whether or not we can actually share them. And especially being Nintendo, I feel like drama is a really, really big thing with some of the Nintendo titles. And yeah, there's drama in Overwatch, but what has been your favorite little piece of drama that was just really over nothing, but someone wanted to make a big deal?
Over nothing, but someone to make a big deal.
Or let me rephrase it. It could just be any little piece of drama that just really didn't mean much, but they were really fucking adamant about it.
There's definitely a lot of cases of drama I could try to pinpoint. Especially because I've worked for 2 tournaments, technically 3 in my lifetime, being caster staff for Outlet Tournament, being moderator staff for Tranquility, and being current admin staff over at Bad Pachamari League. So there's a lot of drama out there. But I'm trying to think of like any sort of like specific cases of drama that I've run into over the past like maybe year or so. Cause it's hard to really say, because like I can't really think of any like specific case of like this was something that really stirred up a lot of drama. If I had to pinpoint really any kind of drama, I mean most of it is going to be related to the Mario Kart scene anyway, but like mostly Mario Kart's like drama with the with the connector track stuff, because obviously again Nintendo has made it clear connector tracks are the way they want to go. Nintendo patched out regular tracks from a worldwide play, and many people have been up in arms about it. For me, I'm like, yeah, it's not like, it's a big deal that like you have to do connector tracks, but at the same time, part of me prefers them a bit, because you like, I made a whole video about like how those connector tracks can actually change the layout of the tracks you're traveling to. So like they have their use. Obviously, I understand why people don't like them. It's because they don't like driving in a straight line. They don't want to have the simulator of driving down I-95 every day. But there is a case to be made of why connector tracks are, decent enough. Now, should they be mainstay? I think absolutely not. But I do think like some people are overreacting a bit to like the absolute negative hate toward connector tracks in Mario Kart World. So that's the best piece of drama I could think about, and that's coming from the Nintendo side. If you want to get to the Overwatch side, I probably have about 5 notebooks worth of stuff to get into there, but I'm not going to.
Yeah, give us one little one from Overwatch. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you the earliest case of one, because that means that it's probably the one that matters the absolute least. Ever heard of a team called the Koala Kings and Navino and all that sort of such?
Yeah.
Well, I was a part of one of their first tournaments. I was a caster for one of their first tournaments they ever competed in, which was Owlet Tournament. And they were not happy about the reception they received at Owlet Tournament. I don't know if they were like, just because they were ignored. I don't remember the exact details of it, but I'm pretty sure they weren't happy about how they were constantly getting like overshadowed or under teased. And they made a big deal about it when they won the championship that season. At that point, I was like, I'm just going to try to block away from it as much as possible. But like, yeah, like there was that sort of drama when Koala Kings won their first championship in Owlet Tournament. Again, that was like 6 years ago. So for all I know, all of them are like, yeah, we're over it. We won the championship. That's that. And Owlet Tournament doesn't even exist anymore. So, like there definitely is that sort of case to be made. Like they could care less about it. So that's the farthest back drama I could really relate to when it came to the Overwatch scene.
Yeah, I can get that. Hunter, Mega, do you guys have any drama? I know the answer for Mega.
Yeah.
I was gonna say
Hunter, what do you
Mega's
got?
definitely laughing right now.
Hunter, what you got?
I mean, when it comes to esports drama, I'll be legit. I normally don't end up getting within the drama or witness a ton of it. I usually hear about it very much after the fact.
Hmm.
Which, to be fair, occasionally I wish that was the case, that I'm actively there for shit going down. It's just always 24 hours after where I'm talking to Hippie and he's like, yeah, dude, this shit happened. I'm like, oh, fuck. Cool. I wish I would have been there for that one. But like, I legit, I'm a bland bitch when it comes to like stories like this, unfortunately. And I wish it wasn't the case, but it is, man. I'm so sorry.
Need to go back and clip the phrase, I'm a bland bitch.
Someone will do it.
In the coach channel. We have it for a
Honestly,
reason.
yeah, we have it here.
You can
You
type
have,
it in
you, have
right
a,
now.
you have an empty quotes channel for a reason, so might as well throw some stuff
Yeah,
in there.
someone
Yep.
can type it in there.
I can't quote myself, so someone else has to do it.
You can also you can also put in my quote from earlier. Every game is technically a shooter.
You really try hard enough. Every game is a
If
shooter.
you try hard enough. Chess, I mean, you're killing the enemy pawns.
You could just play chess with guns.
Chess with guns. There you go. God, I love this medieval crossover with time parallel universes.
Yeah, like the drama that I can mostly remember. I mean, we had the drama at the end of last season for South American Face It. That me and Hunter didn't necessarily know about until the day of the grand finals for that entire thing. We had no idea that there was something. We had been seeing something going on, but we didn't know what it was. We finally figured out what it was the day of grand finals.
Ooh.
And that wasn't a fun thing to kind of tiptoe around during the cast, because we knew something was going on. We figured out day of the grand finals there was big drama. We figured out what it was after the grand finals.
Yeah, and it's like there's not much we could say at the time, but like I feel like it became pretty obvious to the people who were already there watching what the situation was.
Yeah,
and it was hard not to root for one specific team after certain knowledge was placed in. Which I don't feel like I have to specify. If you know, you know.
Yeah, and if you don't, you probably
which,
don't.
by the way, the evil was defeated. Don't have to worry about this one this season.
Yeah, I mean, definitely one of the hardest things I've noticed about like when you learn about drama is then if you have to work on production or cast some of the players or teams that were involved in that drama in a future time, because that's literally something you have to mentally blockade out of your mind. And I definitely have had some of those happen in my past, just casting Overwatch in general. So it can be difficult. It can be very difficult, but I've learned to just put it aside.
Like completely, like I've had awkward stuff happen. Like me and Hunter had to deal with like Alternate announced that they were taking a step back from esports, like the org announced they were taking a step back from esports, and me and Hunter just had already decided that we were going to cover Alternate in Face It, but the day before they had announced that, like, well, we're not going to talk about it because it's still a thing of like, you know, we're trying to figure out what it all means, because every source still had them listed as Alternate, other than I believe it was Wikipedia. But still, right now, every website has them listed as Alternate. There was some small drama that happened at my college that it was like, we should really talk about this, but at the same time, it's like, we're the esports team. I don't think we need to. Mega, what piece of drama do you want to talk about?
There's so many to choose from.
Here.
Somebody put two more. Dex, can you put two more pins in that little message? Because now I'm remembering more things that need to be discussed. Just call one school, call the other Pride Month. That'll probably jog my memory.
Oh boy.
But something that's probably safe to talk about, because it's obviously universally done, was within BPL. A certain person named Recurve. You might have heard of him once or twice. Listen, I'm not saying that I take credit for being the Recurve Slayer, but if there were a person who could take credit, it would be me. Teehee. But the general gist of that drama was literally just like Recurve already kind of had strikes. A lot of people in the community were like, yeah, he can be toxic and stuff like that. And I, after a lovely, I think it was a Snowdown game. I have to remember which. It was a Ragnarok. I remember that. I just don't remember what tournament it was. But yeah, after a lovely game, some people were saying some things in a Twitch chat, and that led to admins being like, "Hey, we see this. We're just gonna go ahead and use this as our chance to shoot the guy." And it was like, "All right, fair enough." And yeah, that's the safe kosher drama I'll talk about.
You just reminded me of a drama case that I had back in Tranquility.
There was a lot.
I don't want to. I don't want to talk. I don't. Well, this was from a specific team that I was affiliated with. I don't want to talk about it though because I don't know. I don't know who could be watching this. Let's put it that way.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So.
Fair enough. But let's talk about just Overwatch now, because you touched on it a little bit earlier with, when we were talking about what's the main difference between like Mario Kart prods and Overwatch prods. I mean, having fewer kind of viewpoints, because that was one thing you did kind of talk about. Like you said, it makes it a little bit easier to kind of follow. Like, fuck, where am I going with this? I've been doing this a lot more recently, and I fucking hate it. I really do, because normally I had questions just lined up. But with just in Overwatch in general, like it's a constantly changing thing. Unlike, I'm not gonna say unlike with Mario Kart, because normally people have their preferences on whatever kart setup they want to run. But in Overwatch, constantly changing. Like, what's one thing that you do to kind of keep up with it? Is it watch pros? Is it kind of just figure it out as watching the games you're casting, like kind of what is the meta at the moment? Like, how do you normally just keep up with potentially like two different games?
Yeah, I mean, the big thing is that when it comes to both, I do both in a different sort of way, both Mario Kart and Overwatch. For Overwatch, I am an active player of the game. I actively participate in Overwatch. Actively participate in Overwatch. I will compete in tournaments if ever necessary, if I can. I'll constantly be playing competitive or quick play. I play the game several times a week. And I just keep following everything that's going on, whether through YouTube videos or through tournaments and whatnot, just to get an idea of what is considered like the meta strategies, what is considered the popular picks, what are considered the unpopular picks, what is considered the bane of all existence, i.e. Roadhog being buffed. So there are multiple. So when it comes to Overwatch, I am usually always keeping myself updated through the game, even if I'm not casting. And I'll admit, I have not been casting as much as I usually did the past couple of months, but I've still kept myself updated with Overwatch, still being involved in Overwatch's sphere, especially with the new perks coming out and this new season as well. For Mario Kart, mostly that revolves around YouTube videos, because I'm not one to really go for the professional strategies. I'll go for some of them. I'll try to do them myself. But most of Mario Kart revolves around learning it from the professionals, in my idea, because the professionals are going to be the ones that find out the best strategies first. I'm not a professional. I can play Mario Kart as much as I can, but I'm never going to be as good as those people up at the top. So I trust them to then post the information and put them onto their YouTube page. And if they don't, and I'm somehow casting and they show out their strat for the first time, it's something cool to talk about, and I can write that on my notes for a future sort of thing. And also, with Mario Kart, because all of my Mario Kart casts so far, except for one, have been LAN tournaments, I've had the opportunity to talk to some of them and get their opinions as well on what they think of, like, which tracks are the best, which tracks are the worst, what strategies do you think will work, what combination are you going to be using? Like, there's so many different ways that I can interact with the Mario Kart community because I've been to more of those LANs for Mario Kart than I have for Overwatch, and not to mention just the structure of Mario Kart compared to Overwatch, so...
Yeah, absolutely. Especially like being able to talk to people in person. Like that was one of my favorite things about being at the two LANs I've done, because I've been able to actually talk to the teams and figure out like everything that they really like doing, stuff that they want to try but might not do it in the LAN setting. And it's always fun to figure that out. But like I'll pose this question to Hunter and Mega as well, especially with Overwatch and learning metas, especially in a time where, let's say, there's no pro play going on, there's no basic going on. Like there's a part of me that's like, you really like I don't watch, like, I've mentioned it before, I don't watch any fucking Overwatch content creator. I don't follow any Overwatch content creator, and I feel like that's actually a good thing. But I feel like there's that month and a half between stages in OWCS where there's no play going on and the meta kind of is wide open to a point with every patch. I feel like there's a lot of fun sometimes going into a cast saying like, we don't know what is going to happen, especially with this patch that we just had. We expect this, but we might be wrong. Like, how do you, like, Hunter, Mega, and Bowsy, you kind of keep it, you can, jump in on this as well. Like, what do you guys normally do in those, like, downtime from pro play and the meta constantly changing? Like, how do you guys normally keep up with it?
I mean, even if there's not a situation where there's pro play, you're typically going to see some level of shift, like preemptively, essentially, where sometimes it's not obvious, but sometimes you'll start playing, watching the game, you realize, hey, 75% of the people on tank are clicking Hazard right now. And Hazard had like maybe 20% play time like 3 weeks ago. Something has changed. Someone has cracked the code. It was the same point where back when Goats was created, it wasn't some like fucking wonder team, all right? Like you didn't have Krusty back in the day cooking this shit up, all right? It came out of nowhere, it popped off, and then everybody started doing it. And that is the thing about Overwatch, and I think with other esports as well, is that it's just going to randomly happen for freaking one of these days. Freaking Quick Esports is going to come out the gate, start running some random stuff that just happens to steamroll everything, and then everybody's going to start running it. And that could happen in a week. The meta can go from this to that just like that, from somebody recognizing, hey, this is the best thing right now. It's killing in scrims. And then you will see that even more in this grassroots stuff, because people will pick up on that. It just trickles down that quickly, especially in esports. And then obviously, if you grind a lot, you're going to notice it in comp all the time too. And you just pick up on it from there.
Yeah, it's definitely something that just kind of can sneak up on you, and I personally really like when it does. Just because again, it's one of those things where it's like lightning in a bottle, right? When the meta comp that's about to be meta for 6 months is revealed for the first time, it's not exacerbated or boring yet. It's like, oh, what is this? This is doing something that we weren't expecting. And so it kind of just it's interesting to watch it happen. Because, like Hunter said, Goats was not invented by some top tier team sitting in a lab somewhere genetically engineering something. Realistically, what happened with Goats, most people saw it in real time. Dallas Fuel was like, hey, what if we played Mickey on Brig and we just had Seagull play Diva and we only ran 1 DPS? And everyone's like, holy fuck, this is kind of good. It was like, do you really need the DPS? Like, it was just kind of people slowly experimenting. And it's something I wish people would do more nowadays, because it feels like when a meta pops up, like especially during RAM meta, like people just sort of accepted like, okay, we have to play Ramattra. But like I feel like there was a level of experimentation that just hadn't happened yet, where you could have played not Ramattra during that meta. Like I feel like that still exists even now. Like there's levels of experimentation with how much they've been updating the game recently that actually can allow the meta to change on a dime, but people are just too scared to experiment. They find something that other teams are running, and they're like, all right, we'll just stick with this.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna echo what Megalass says there, because like I've seen that multiple times. One of the biggest showcases of that, I feel like, was in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, because halfway through Mario Kart 8 Deluxe's big DLC, they had a massive update change everything. They nerfed multiple combinations, nerfed multiple characters, and for a time there, like, some people were sticking with what they thought was the original meta, but other people were starting to experiment, and so they ended up experimenting and finding something that was replaceable through the eventual changes, and now we have stuck back at square number one. So it feels like people sometimes can get too comfortable with a meta, and they'll stick to only that meta instead of trying to experiment with something else. Now, me, I am never a hardcore meta user. You can tell because I play Junker Queen and Zarya in Overwatch. 2 heroes that are usually not meta in their current states.
2 heroes that are somewhat meta in their current state.
Okay, right now, but in the past, since Overwatch 2 release, Zarya has really been the only one that got, like, true meta. Junker Queen, sometimes, but not really all the time. But regardless of which, I usually will pick the off-meta picks. Even in Mario Kart, I would always pick, like, something that was close to the meta, but not exactly the meta because it played into my playstyle a little bit more, and I wanted to try and experiment with something that I thought would work better. So I really wish we did have those days of like just throwing something at the wall and seeing what sticks. I get why people don't because they want to play the safe strategy, but sometimes the safe strategy is not always the best strategy. And that's another aspect of esports that I really like, is because like you could be playing the safe strategy, or you could go balls to the wall and say, we're going to run, I don't know, Ball, Tracer, Genji on a Brig out of nowhere and just steamroll the competition. Like there's that choice of like safe or risky, and safe win versus risky reward. So that's what I love about esports.
Yeah,
I just want to quickly say that Zarya is a perfect example, especially right now because Zarya has come prevalent in the meta. Go read the patches. Zarya hasn't been changed in probably about like I'd say 6 months at this point. Besides, I think one perk change, which even then it's not that major of a change. That's not what brought Zarya to light. It's just people finally experimented with the character.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the perk change. I'm pretty sure the only 2 changes that Zarya got recently was a buff to one of her major perks and the new perk change that everyone else got in this recent season. So Zarya literally has not been touched, and yet still was introduced in the meta because people are like, okay, but what if massive Russian buff woman lady? Like, what if?
Yeah, what if? No, but, like, absolutely with that. And like I've been one of the biggest like arguers for like, hey, Zarya could really well work at any meta. It's just no one wants to try because, hey, again, you look at Bubble and say, okay, well, we're seeing it right now with probably with what me and Hunter have seen in Face It. The easiest way to really get rid of a Zarya is to say, fuck it, we're gonna give Zarya all the charge. We're just gonna pop these bubbles the moment we see them, so that we can just go after the Zarya. But what I was gonna say while Mega was talking about experimenting with stuff, I forget what stage it was, but it was one of the ones during Malga's like run there. I think it was, I want to say it was Dallas last year, where someone said like, oh yeah, you started to slowly see teams experiment with running Queen against Malga, but it just never necessarily made it far enough for teams to feel really comfortable with it. And then after whatever land that was, it was like, hey, yeah, we found out that Queen is actually a good counter to Amalga. And by the time the next stage came up, it was like, okay, they adjusted Malga, so Malga wasn't that good anymore, and the entire strategy fell apart with wanting to run Queen against it. But it was like teams had really started to find something out. Too bad it was at the LAN when they found it out.
Yeah, and there will be teams that will go there and they will gamble on thinking that, hey, this is the right counter strat. This is the thing that we want to run that think is the best. And we've seen it from teams where they will go out there, they realize, oh, this does not work. And at that point, there's nothing you can do about it because there are seven other teams at that LAN that have been practicing the same exact thing, and you are not better than those 7 teams. And you're not going to get better than them over the course of a few maps.
Wayne, you aren't them.
It's too late at that point. You go out the map, you try Sling Wonky, it doesn't work. It's like, well, GG's guys.
Pack it up.
Pack it up. We'll be here in 4 months later. We'll just play what they're playing. It's all good.
Here, but Bowsy, let's move away from this question. Let's touch on the. You have said you have done a couple other games here and there when it comes to casting. What is normally the thought process of, okay, I'm gonna be casting this game. I've never casted it before. What's the kind of thing going through your head of like, okay, what do I need to do to make sure I come in and like understand how the game works?
Yeah, this is definitely like, I'm gonna be honest, I take this more seriously than I think any other caster does when it comes to casting a new game. Because I will not commit to casting a new game unless I know it and unless I play it. Mm-hmm. Because I feel like I need to know as much information as I can to get a general grasp of what I'm casting. It's why Mario Kart, Overwatch, and Smash Brothers are the only 3 games that I casted. Those are the only 3 esport type games that I have played and know enough about to feel comfortable enough to casting. There might be a 4th or a 5th game in that category somewhere. It's just I've never had the opportunity to cast those games or am not interested in casting those games. So That's the big thing for me, is that I feel like I need to know the game in question. Now, if you told me, okay, in 3 days' time, we're going to have you cast, let's say, Valorant. I'm going to be like, okay, I would buy a Valorant account right now, and I would start learning the game as quickly as I could, maybe watching some videos, trying to get an idea of what the game is like, so that I can go in and I can put on a good product at hand. Because I feel like whenever I cast, even in a play-by-play position, not just in a color position, but a play-by-play, I feel like I need to know at least some of the ability names, at least some of the tactics that some of these players are using, at least some of the information related to the game, just to put on a good show. Because I feel like if I go in and I'm not informed on the game in question, it's not going to be as good of a cast. So.
No, and like I'm right with you with that. It's why I casted Valorant a couple times, but I didn't necessarily know enough about the game. Like I played it, but it was like you could tell I was really grasping at straws, and it's why I haven't done anything with Rivals yet either, because it's like I haven't played the game. I haven't played the game since probably like 2 weeks after the initial beta came out for everyone. So it's just like I don't necessarily want to go into a game saying, okay, yeah, Spider-Man killed some people. I don't want to do that. Like, if I'm going to go cast a new game, I want to know at least the bare minimum of it all. And, like, Hunter and Mega, you guys have I mean, at some point, we've all casted new games. I know both you and, I know, Mega, both you and Hunter have tried to do, or are doing Rivals when you can. Like, are you guys in the same kind of boat with when you go to cast a new game, it's like you want to kind of sit down, play the game for a little bit before you go out and cast it? Or is it something like you just want to hit the ground running casting it, you'll figure some stuff out later?
It's almost dependent on the game, isn't it? To some degree. Because it feels like there are some games that saying easier is not what I want to say here, but they're easier to understand and easier to pick up. Like Rocket League is an example of a game that on the surface level is simple to be able to pick up. Obviously, there are a lot more things that, you will figure out over time that you're not going to pick up initially. But it's different if you go and you cast something like Valor or Marvel Rivals, where you don't know what these ancient heroes do. And the best thing you can do is go in there and honestly, and I hate to say this as a caster, make shit up sometime. I'm being very for real. I did my first Marvel Rivals cast with about 10 hours played in the game. So I understood some characters. But then they would come out here on something else. They would come out on Hulk. And I'm like, I do not know what any of his abilities are called. Oh shit, what do I do? And when he ulted, I'm like, oh, he's hulking out. just screamed out, he's hulking out. Because I'm like, I don't know what to call this.
He's hulking out is
he's
definitely
hulking out.
He's
definitely
hulking
that's not incorrect.
My favorite part of the Incredible Hulk was when he said, "I'm hulking out," and Incredible all over the place.
Oh my goodness. But no, I mean, for me personally, like, it's kind of a knowledge. It's a knowledge thing as well, because the knowledge just brings me comfort more than anything else, right? It's like, there was obviously a long time I was like, oh man, I really want to cast Valorant before I actually, sat down and got into Valorant gigs. And that entire time, it was just kind of me VOD reviewing, playing the game, tearing my hair out because I actually hate the game sometimes when I'm playing it. But, like, kind of back to what Bowsy said, like, I just kind of, like, I have my own standards as a caster to where I don't want to go somewhere and cast something and have it sound mediocre, because at the end of the day, any single cast you do, you're kind of advertising yourself. And if you show up and not to try to poke fun, but if you just say he's hulking out, sometimes, that could be the difference between you getting an offer somewhere to cast an event and you not.
Yeah. 100%. And that's why, like, even if you are not super knowledgeable with the game, you just need to go by it and just go and memorize shit. Either go play the game or sit here and memorize. Like when I originally casted for what was it? Oh God, Kate had a charity tournament for Marvel Rivals, and I was still knowledgeable enough, but basically I had my entire second screen dedicated to information. I had a list of like all the ultimates, all the characters, anything I can fit on that trait, I fit on there. And that way it's easier for me to identify, okay, this ult's online. I can look over to here. This is what it is specifically called. And from there, it becomes easier. It's like, okay, I know what this ultimate is called now. Because like, Luna Snow goes out there, uses the ult, and I'm like, oh, she's using Tranquility. Right. That's what it is, man. I'm just saying. That's what it is.
That was
it's just not called Tranquility.
Oh.
It's not. But that is what it is. It is basically Tranquility. A better Tranquility, honestly.
You mean Transcendence, right?
Yeah. I keep saying Tranquility only because of Trank.
Rest in peace.
Not surprised. My Stream Deck standby icon was Tranquility until I finally fixed it today. So.
But like here, one thing I'll say about like not necessarily knowing the right names for stuff. Like I never necessarily look at that as a bad thing, especially because like there's so many ability names and ultimate names that you're trying to remember. Like in Overwatch, I constantly forget what Bastion's one is. I think it's I want to say Artillery Barrage.
Artillery Strike.
Is it Artillery Strike?
I am like 99% confident. I've always said Artillery Strike.
I think. See now you got me looking it up on Overwatch. Let's see, hold on.
And before it's just Configuration Artillery.
I think it's Configuration Artillery. Yeah, Configuration Artillery is the ultimate name.
It's Configuration Artillery, but I always I called it Mortar Strike. I called it Artillery Barrage. I called it so many different things, and I forget who I VOD reviewed with, and they said to me, "You need to know the right name for this. If you don't know the right name for it, it's gonna make you look very, very stupid, or not very stupid. It's gonna make you look like you don't know the game." It's just like, yeah, but like we call so many there's so many abilities in Overwatch that we call something that's so vastly different from what it's actually called because it's so much easier to say. And it's just like an
boy, that Lucio just used Sound Wave.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, yeah. Just recently, I had my first cast with Wooyoung in the game, and I did not know what Wooyoung's abilities are called because I never played Wooyoung before that game, or before that. I never played Wooyoung at all before I casted that game. So I went into that, and I did not call any of Wooyoung's abilities by name until my co-caster mentioned his ultimate name. So I knew, okay, his ultimate's called Tidal Blast. That's easy to remember. Yeah. But I did not call Wooyoung's abilities by anything else because I just didn't know them at the time. So
I didn't know him either. The one time the couple times I've been casting Wooyoung, but whatever his fucking like movement ability is, where he rides the wave, I've just called it. Yeah, he's hitting the Gnar.
The Gnar.
Surf's up, dude.
Surf's up, bro. Yeah, but like. There's times with that. Well, the point I'm trying to get to here, outside of the thing that I just made, is when you're brand new, when it's like brand new casters you run into a lot, they don't know the names of any of the abilities, so they try to like basically describe what's going out, what they see on screen, which most times, hey, guess what? When you do that, you will be very, very close a lot of times. But there's definitely some where it's like, it's very hard to figure out what the ultimate's actually called. So it's very funny to hear that. But it's always like with new casters, it seems like they want to get it right, but sometimes they think they have it right even though they're dead wrong, and they are so hell bent on thinking like, yeah, I had it.
Yeah.
See, I remember go ahead, Bowsy.
No, I was gonna say like being like so like focused on being right that sometimes you're wrong and you don't even recognize it. Definitely had that before. I've definitely called, I think there was one cast I remember I was looking back through, and I think I accidentally called High Noon Tactical Visor, or the other way around. I don't know how the heck I did that, but I've definitely had times like that where I mixed up a name by accident several times in my cast. So, and like when I'm casting, I don't even recognize that, but then I'll look through the cast and I'll recognize it. I'm like, shoot, that's a bad mistake. What the heck happened there? So,
see, I was just gonna say I worked with someone recently, which I'm not gonna call out names, but specifically with Wooyoung, they just called every ability. It was a variation of Wave, because he has Guardian Wave, obviously, but they'd be like, "Oh, the ultimate Tidal Wave," and then it's like, "Oh, his movement wave," and I'm like, "Dude, come on now." Like, it's just, sure, the NAR. At least the NAR is different, but like to call everything wave, it's like, because realistically, right? There's a lot of people who watch casts where half the time you can get away. You can get away with maybe not knowing something concrete, but if you just make very, very obvious mistakes like that, like that's what's gonna get people to be like, "Hey, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about."
Yeah, and like you guys said, you can get away with some stuff, but once you start repeating, once you start like, I would say if you are on like, okay, you're on probably your 10th year that you're seeing, and you're calling stuff just blatantly wrong. It's like, you understand what's going on, but you don't know what's going on sometimes.
Mhm.
And so, like, it's a difficult thing. It's a funny thing if you do know what is going on and you're trying to listen to someone do it for the first time. But at the same time, it's just like, oh, this is what this entire cast is going to be.
Yay.
Yippee.
Like, knowledge is always going to be your best friend. Like, I always talk about, or not always, but like, for example, we've talked about on the podcast before, like Pokemon casting, right? And like realistically, I've not cast a Pokemon in a while. However, because I'm a nerd who literally all I do is consume Pokemon content, I literally tomorrow I could get told, "Hey, come in, tap in on some Pokemon." I would feel confident enough to do that because of just the knowledge of just consuming and playing the game as much as I do. And if you don't have that level of knowledge, that's fine. Just realize your own limitations. Like, don't come in with like the confidence to cast something if you have no clue what the game is about. Because best case scenario, you fake your way through it. Worst case and more likely case scenario, you're gonna make yourself look like a fool, and people around you just be like, "Yeah, already," and then everybody just leaves the Discord call.
Here, wait. Bowsy, let me ask you this. Kind of piggybacking off of what we've been talking about this, has there ever been a broadcast, a cast you gone into, and just kind of made your, like what Mega said with making yourself the fool? Have you ever made yourself look like the fool?
That's so hard.
And let's just open that question to everyone. Have we all made ourselves look like the fool?
Absolutely.
I mean,
absolutely.
I feel like there definitely is a time where like I was spouting absolute nonsense for not making sense or doing something wrong. I just can't remember it because it probably was like years ago. The only cast I can think about where I like was not putting forward my best product, or like just not, or like was doing like not the most ideal cast, or like making myself a fool. Honestly, might have been my first play-by-play cast, because for those who don't know, I started off originally as a color caster. I was not a play-by-play caster. I started as a color caster when I started casting back in 2019 or whatnot. My first play-by-play role was a Tranquility All-Stars game. And like, if you've ever seen the Tranquility All-Stars games, especially in seasons past, they would mostly revolve around doing interviews with players in the community. And I remember I would be so focused on the action in the game, I would not be focused on the interview happening. So I would like randomly butt in from the interview while casting the actual action in the All-Star game. So you can imagine how like I could definitely be like seen as the fool in that situation. To my credit, that was the first time I ever casted play-by-play, so I might have just been the hype of like, I get to finally cast play-by-play after doing color for 2 years. But yeah, I definitely feel like I made myself a fool. But again, that was 5 years ago at this point. I've long forgotten about those days. So
Like, I have my easy answer for making myself look like the fool, and I felt so bad because it was someone who reached out to me saying like, "Hey, can you come cover this for my school?" It was Unfeatured who asked me to come cast Valorant for Drexel, and I just remember like the biggest thing they all said after me is like, "Why were you so focused on the economy?" I was like, "This is just basically like CS:GO. I know that in CS:GO that's a huge thing to focus on the economy." And it's just like, no, it doesn't necessarily matter. Just like, anytime during the broadcast, you can tell me to shut up. Like, please don't let me look like a fucking idiot, please.
yeah,
I mean, mine kind of easy. Like the first time I ever did play-by-play, I'm not gonna lie, I definitely had a bit of an ego. I was like, oh yeah, need a fill for play-by-play? I can do that. All they do is, yeah, easy peasy. And I'm pretty sure I just, like, all I did was said, yep, that one just got a kill right there. Like, I was just reading the kill feed for, like, the entire cast. And I immediately after, I think I don't think I was, like, fully committed with, like, casting with Fletch a lot back then, but I remember I messaged somebody who did play-by-play. I was like, I'm so sorry. I get it now.
Yeah.
That's a big thing though with like early play, like you can tell someone's new play-by-play because they're not calling what they're seeing, they're calling the kill feed. And I'll admit it, when I first started, I basically did that. Like I only casted the kill feed. Like yeah, I would like be like kind of like, oh yeah, I'm going from what's we're seeing to kill feed. It would be like back and forth, but it would be like, oh yeah, this person got this kill, this person got this kill, this person got this kill, but not necessarily commenting on what we're actually seeing.
Yeah, I mean, that also could be the case of, like, in my early days of casting, I did not have a dedicated observer feed that I could see at least. So I casted in the days where we would join the lobby.
Yeah.
And we would cast from the lobby, which that is difficult because you can't see what the observer sees. So in that sense, you're basically trying to juggle your way between doing what you see in game and what you think the observer's seeing. And what's the number one thing that both you and the observer can see? The kill feed. So I would mainly focus on the kill feed in my early days. So I have that excuse, but I think once I started getting an observer feed, I started getting a lot more refined in that play-by-play, because then I could cast what everyone else is seeing and emphasize what exactly is everyone seeing on their screen.
This is what me and Hunter have to deal with, facing, because Hunter is the main observer, but I'm not. And I feel like we've done okay with it.
You know, we've gotten away with some shenanigans, you know. But I've
gotten away with some tomfoolery.
A little bit of tomfoolery. Well, Hunter will forget to change over the hero ban icon. Hunter will realize that, oh yeah, the Suravasa picture in fact does not work, so just use your imagination, guys. Dumb things like that. But it's worked, so, you know, hey.
Yeah. But Hunter,
if it works, it works. Don't break what's fixed. I don't know. That's definitely not the way to do it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Don't break what's fixed.
Listen, listen. Gibberish was my first language. English was my second. So,
Hunter, but back to the original question. What was the time you made yourself look like the fool?
I brought up the story before, but it's for a slightly different question. But I think it still answers this perfectly. I did a cast. This was, I can't remember what specifically it was for, but I was working with Light Rose at the time. It was a good cast. Overall, the cast itself was great. It was a good cast. And Calling All Heroes came up for a moment. And I had known, like, okay, that was like the inaugural season just finished up. And to be fair, I was watching it for a amount. I knew what it was. Wasn't as involved or as knowledgeable as I am nowadays. But we're talking about it for a moment. And for some reason, as we're talking about, the words from my mouth come out as, yeah, Calling All Heroes, back when that was a thing. Already knowing that they were going to do another season of Calling All Heroes, that it was not over, I quickly tried to double back in that situation. Light Rose, let me have it. Which, to be fair, the correct decision to let me have it. Because I could not pedal back on that one.
Damn, I didn't know we started a podcast with a misogynist.
Listen, I can't be a misogynist. My mother's a female.
That's another quote for the quotes channel after this is done.
Mega, what's your response to what the fuck Hunter's saying?
What? So, I'm gonna let the people at home in on some secrets. Behind the scenes, I've been kind of going through it mentally, where I'm I'm over here like, I don't really deserve to be here. Everyone else is real. I'm sort of fake and fraudulent. And I'm realizing, and Dex has been very supportive, being like, no, you deserve to be here. Absolutely. I want you here. And I'm realizing now that he just has me here as like the woman representation so they
No!
can say shit like this.
No.
Oh, dear God, we are fucking spiraling.
I was like, you love how you thought I was going to make it better and I made it 10 times worse?
Expected that. I'll be honest. Which at that, I'll take it. It's clippable content. Let's go.
It's content, baby.
Content. Listen, no, it's gonna be great. One of these days, one of these clips is gonna get like 100,000 views, and then this podcast is gonna start making the big bucks. Okay,
That's why they pay me to
we all know it. Okay.
I'm in hell.
No, you've been here for about fucking 8 months, dude. Hate to tell you.
We're about to be in month 10.
Good God, something's wrong with this.
Well, you know what? Eventually, you will get that big video, and then pop off, and you'll be able to accept sponsorships from sponsors like Ray, Shadow, Ledge Yellow, Fresh VPN.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. Where's our Factor 75 sponsorship? Where's that at? Like, you think I won't like go and make a video of me cooking up one of them meals? Like, bro, I'm out here eating frozen meals, bro. I'm struggling, bro.
When I lived in Florida, I almost subscribed to Factor 75 because I needed some healthy food.
I did HelloFresh for like a month, and the thing is, it wasn't bad. It was just so expensive.
Hey, we're not sponsored for any of these fucking things, so shut
No, we're not, but guess what? There we go. Make sure to use code Huntertain.
I was gonna say, hang on. Actually, wait. That reminds me. I'm gonna go look at Streamlabs right now and see if I have the opportunity to be sponsored by any of them.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I have an opportunity for Factor 75. I'm pretty sure that exists.
I don't stream, so I don't have any of this.
I should,
but I
definitely
don't.
We definitely both have offers. The question is, what is available
No,
right now?
I was gonna say I once fumbled I just didn't do it in time. I had a Raid Shadow Legends pop up.
I mean, funny enough, I've been getting emails in my business email to get to be sponsored by a cryptocurrency mobile game that I will not name, but yeah, that's been fun to completely ghost them.
I could do the Roblox one. You know, I'll just go on and play Roblox for about 4 hours. GG. There we go.
There you go.
GG, secure the bag.
My friend already does that, so
I gotta get the bag. It's easy. What do I gotta do? Let's go check this out. I'm not gonna do it, by the way. But
meanwhile, Dex is just losing their mind.
Listen, Dex. Listen, if I can get 8 people to play, you know, I can make some big money. Purchase Robux. I'm not purchasing Robux. Get out of here.
What the fuck is this podcast becoming?
No,
it's because I'm here. Everything breaks because I'm here.
No, to be fair, me and Mega have gotten to the point where it's like, you know, I have the perfect video for what this podcast is encapsulation. And Mega, you'll know this GIF because it's Pokemon related. You will know this GIF. But let me take it for a minute. So
hey, Hunter,
someone do something
your
for
question.
My question?
Yes.
Okay. I'll ask that while I'm looking for the video. So Bowsy, within our lifetimes, okay, we were all once, God would say we were all once young, but when we first started playing video games, we all probably had a specific username that maybe we don't use anymore. I think for everybody, not including you, definitely had a different name at one point. But eventually, we have all settled upon the names that I imagine we'll be using for the rest of the length of our careers, which leads to the question, HBBowsy, where does it come from?
All right, that's a very good question. So HBBowsy64, the username, actually is a combination of 2 past usernames I had. So I'll start off with the easier one, which is Bowsy. Bowsy relates to this little goober right here. Bowsy is the Spanish translation of Bowser Jr.'s name, and the only one where the junior suffix is not included. That became my Overwatch name back in 2019 or 2020 or so, just because I wanted a name that more resonated with me and a name that I enjoyed a lot more. So Bowsy, that's the Bowsy part. The HB64 part dates back all the way back to elementary school. When I was in elementary school, because I watched a lot of YouTube back in elementary school, I wanted to be a YouTuber, and my original username idea was HammerBros64, which was my favorite Mario enemy at the time, and the number 64, which was going to be related to the content of my channel, which was going to be a Let's Play channel, my first game being Super Mario 64. Both of those immediately became outdated when I made my YouTube channel, because I have still not done a Let's Play of Mario 64, and Hammer Bro is no longer my favorite Mario character, it's this guy. So, eventually, come 2021, I had this weird thing where my YouTube name was one thing, and my Overwatch name was another, and I took a social media class at the time that was like, you should have a singular brand that you should focus on, or like, try to refine your brand. So I decided, what's a catchy way I can combine both of these usernames? And as such, the username HBBowsy64 was born. It's a simple way. The HB stands for Hammer Bro, the 64 for the 64 at the end of a name, and then Bowsy fitting it all in. So that is how HBBowsy64, my current and hopefully future username, came to be.
That might be one of the best stories we've had when it comes to this question. I'm not even going to cap. Everything has a reason. Every part of it makes sense. You know what? You're getting the Gold Star Award for my question of the week. There you go.
I don't have anything to signify that, but
I don't really either. I'll be honest. I wish I kind of had it for the bit, but I really don't. Here, you can get this old pin of Hanzo.
Oh, wow. I'm pretty sure I actually have a couple of those button pins, because I found a button pin set at PAX East this past year with Overwatch
Yeah,
stuff,
I have a Diva and Lucio one on my my Diva drawstring bag.
I have 6 of them. I think one of them is Diva and one of them is Soldier 76. I don't remember what the other 4 are. So
you have a Diva drawstring bag?
Yeah. Let me show you it. Yeah, I love it. I love that thing to death.
I don't have a Diva drawstring bag. I do have an Overwatch jacket. I have an Overwatch 2 rain jacket before Overwatch 2 even came out. That was back in 2019, I think.
Yeah, but I will agree with Hunter. That's probably one of the better name stories we've had so far, for as long as we've been asking that question. But Mega, do you have a question before we get into the normal one?
Oh no, I was just gonna go to my normal one. Fun fact. Yeah. So Bowsy, you know me. I love to spread hate and vitriol on the internet. So as you see from the image, lovely put on your screen, thanks to Dexatron. I want you to think back through any and all esports you've ever done. And personally, I always say the pettier the better. But you know, if you want to cook up something that's actually upset you, you can go for it. But the question is just what is something that somebody has done, or an esports pro or whatever have you, that has grinded your gears?
For something that's grinding my gears, this is something that has happened so many different times with so many different people. And people still do it today, and it still grinds my gears, and I absolutely hate it. It is using a different username than what you give me on a reference sheet or a reference thing or anything of that sort. Using a different username in the game. Mostly this is a case with Overwatch. Because you'll tell me like, yeah, this is my username, this is who I use, and then you come into the game and you're playing as like an entirely different username, like Roadhog Main 25. I'm like, who the heck is this? Who the heck is this that's currently in the game? And it drives me insane because, again, I told you, like, I like to know as much as I can, and this also applies to players. I usually will research players and teams before I go into matches just to get an idea of what I'm dealing with. Like, if there's any past champions, if there's any returning veterans, if there's any rookies, all that sort of stuff. So when I do all this research, and then you come into the game that I'm casting, and you have a username that doesn't sync up, that I cannot recognize, that I can't find any information on, how am I supposed to know who you are? It grinds my gears to an ever-loving extent, and I absolutely hate it. So that is one of the things over the entire course of my casting career, since the way back ways of when I started casting, that has absolutely grinded my gears since casting. So There you go. That's what really grinds my gears.
No, that's a good one. That is a really good one because that really does piss me off when someone like says their name on the team. She's like, oh yeah, you know, it's like, oh yeah, my name in game is gonna be like fucking, I don't know, Hunter, and then we have I forget which it was. I think it was we had Anime Mommy or whatever recently. I forget what it was. Where it's like, oh yeah, but they want us to call him Cal. I was like, you put us 3 different names. Give us 3 different names. I'm gonna call you what the fuck you are in game. Then like make a gamer tag.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. This also happens a bit in the Mario Kart scene, but for Mario Kart, I can understand because sometimes you forget to change your username if you're playing on somebody else's Switch. So I can understand like not having the right username in Mario Kart. But when it comes to Overwatch, man, you enter in your information when you first join this tournament. You should be telling me what your right name is. Now, I'm gonna admit, I am victim to this. When I first did Tranquility, when I first played in that tournament, my Discord username was not the same as my Overwatch username. So I am victim to this. The point still stands, though, that I don't like when someone inputs one username, but then comes into the match with an entirely different one. So. Also, welcome back, Huntertain.
I was gonna question.
Hey, yeah, for something that I love, I sure as fuck can't find it. I did find it eventually, though. But no, this is it. It's kind of old at this point, but yeah, it's a Diva Dostrenbeg.
Nice.
It's got the Diva and the Lucio on it.
Nice.
I've had this thing for probably like 6 or 7 years now, at least. It's old, but I still have it, and I love it. It's one of the only Overwatch merch things that I actually own. So, if you don't count like Overwatch League stuff,
yeah,
you can go right there where I won't lose you.
You're gonna lose again in 2 hours.
Yeah, you'll misplace
Probably,
it right after the podcast is done.
100% I'm gonna misplace it.
But I respond to Bowsy's thing here. Like, I imagine this is something that all 3 of us, all 4 of us, especially because we're casters, get really fucking just annoyed with.
Oh, absolutely. See, my personal pet peeve is like recently, and this is a shout out to CGL because it's absolutely arousing when people put 2 different names, but they only include the pronunciation for one, and it's not the in-game whatever. People in CGL have not been filling out their team sheets, and genuinely, I want listen, it would be a complete overreach, and it would never happen. I want Headrammer or Fish. I feel like Fish would be more likely to agree with me on this. To literally be like, listen, you cannot compete in mid-season or the end-of-season tournament unless you fill out your team sheet. Straight up, fuck them. Like, I do not give a single shit. It's annoying as shit to go into a match and not have a team sheet for any info on a team. Fuck them.
I have to agree with that.
Yeah, honestly, I'm really happy this is the topic because honestly, fuck these teams. When we go in and we are not given a pronunciation thing and we say something and then in map 2 we're in chat like actually it's pronounced like with a hard E, not a soft E. You got to say it like this. It's like, well, maybe you should have wrote that in the fucking team sheet an hour ago and then maybe we would have gotten it right. Which in some situations it's fine. Like with our South America thing, we called Ray's Rido for like a whole game until we were finally told, hey, it's this and not that. It's like, oh, that's understandable because we don't have a source and that's not the player's fault, But in this situation, we specifically are giving team sheets to teams so that we can call them the correct pronouns. So we can call them the correct name. If you don't provide those, I don't know what the fuck to do.
Yeah,
we'll do our best.
Yep, you just unlocked a core memory by saying that because I remember one match particular in Tranquility. I had to cast a player's name, Hokage. I kept saying multiple different pronunciations, and I would keep getting corrected by multiple different people who kept saying a different pronunciation. And I didn't know if they were saying it as a joke or not, but it truly drive me nuts. I think eventually I caught on to one saying it as a joke because they intentionally mispronounced somebody else's name. I'm like, all right, you're banned. So
H-O-K.
I think it's Hokage.
A-G-E.
Right.
Yeah, Hokage, I believe, is what
that's what I was gonna say. I would have called it Hokage, 100%.
Yeah. Also partially because I took Japanese, and that's how you
weeb.
pronounce it.
I'm a weeb.
I was gonna say they're gonna say like, yeah, no, it's just pronounced Hokage.
Yes, I think that's the one. I think that's the one I
Hoagie.
kept mispronouncing. I think that was the way I kept mispronouncing it for a bit. But I think I said Hokage because I'd taken Japanese for a year. I've been to Japan for 2 weeks. I know a lot about Japanese culture. So
yeah, no, like I had that same thing. I think it was in CGL where the team sheet it said one way. I was told by someone on the team in game that like no, it's pronounced this way, and then someone in the chat say they're saying it wrong. It's pronounced this way. And then after the game, the player tweeted at like me and whoever the co-caster was saying, hey, they need to have more professional people there at CGL. They kept on saying my name wrong. And I'm like, buddy, we were told 3 different things by 3 different people. We were told how you had it on the team sheet was wrong.
yeah, it's insane. Also, one thing that grinds my gears. Thankfully, I did not have to cast this. But back when I played, I had to play up against a team named Team Josh. All 6 players on that roster were named Josh. I am so glad I didn't have to cast that game because that would have been the most annoying thing ever to cast.
Nah, I'm done at that point. Everyone's just being called Josh. I'm not specifying anything. Good luck.
Everyone's just being called the hero they're playing. I don't care.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
that's
probably what I would have done, honestly. So now that we've got the anger out of the way.
Yeah. Do you guys have any other questions for our guest here?
I got nothing.
I don't really have anything.
I'll
I won't tangent for too long because I know we're at that point. But in every game you've ever casted, whatever it might be, is there a hero or a character that is your favorite to cast? No matter what game, any game you've done.
That's so hard to say. I mean, when it comes to like, honestly, Overwatch, I love it when people play my mains. Mostly whenever someone plays Zarya or Junker Queen, because I just love. Again, those are the heroes I love the most. I love playing those heroes the most. So when I get to see people play them, it makes me a little bit giddy because it's like, oh my goodness, the hero I'm playing is actually being utilized by other people, and I get to cast it because I know this hero so well because I play them all the time. So. Huntertain probably is the same way with Winston. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I 100% agree, buddy. Don't worry about that one. I agree. Whenever Winston's in, I'm a happy clam. Whenever Winston is banned, I physically have an X that I put directly over the Winston in the corner. It's a sad day when it happens, but
I've definitely had certain moments where like I was casting a lobby and I saw Bowser Jr. in there and I'm like, respect to you, Bowser Jr. player, because like no one picks Bowser Jr. They pick whatever's meta, and Bowser Jr. is not meta. So, it feels good sometimes when people do pick a hero or character that I love the most. So
it's weird because I haven't hidden in a way. I'm a Symmetra main, so it's like always cool to see it. But now Symmetra's getting meta, so that's kind of fun. But at the same time, it's like, oh wait, that just means more people could be trying out Symmetra. Oh. Yeah.
That's also the fear. It's like, oh yay, my hero's meta. Shoot, my hero's meta. Now I gotta be good at my hero. Shoot, now everyone's gonna be playing my hero. Well, crap, I'm screwed.
I think that's a good point to kind of wrap up this, unless you guys have anything else.
I'm pretty solid now, bud.
All right. Well, Bowsy, I want to thank you. Here, wait. Bowsy, I want to thank you so much for joining us this week. Man, it was great to have you on. Hunter, Mega, I want to thank you guys as always. And I want to thank you as well for listening or watching this video. As always, make sure you tune in next week for another great episode of For the Love of Prod. And again, as always, I have no idea who it will be. And you guys will figure out what I figure out. So until next time, y'all, have a great week and see you then.